I watched a guy's $2,000 tactical pistol choke on its third mag in freezing rain this winter, 2026. Mine wasn't much better. We were running a low-light class, lights and red dots everywhere, and the line started falling apart. Optics fogged, switches snapped, one slide outran its mag. I walked in smug with my Glock 19 Gen 5 MOS, the gun I'd defended in comments for years, and watched it get slick and moody, while a plain FN 509 tactical at the end of the line just kept chewing. That night, I stopped caring about roll marks and started caring about which pistols had already lived through the worst days of 2026 without giving me a story to explain away. So when I say tactical here, I'm talking about duty ready, light and optic on, dragged through classes and bad weather and still boringly predictable. Out of everything I ran, 5 handguns humiliated the rest, and one of them shoved my old loyalty off my belt. I got so bored with the Walther PDP full-size that I tried to kill it on purpose. It had turned into my cheat code gun. Every time I needed something to just run in a class, that PDP came out of the case, ate whatever I fed it, and went back in the bag without a story. That annoyed me. So I stacked the deck against it. I brought it to a cold night shoot, barely lubed, already dirty, with a light and optic hanging off it, and put it on the line next to a serious tactical pistol that looked better on a duty belt. Halfway through a long string, I watched the big-name gun come apart. The dot walked high, the light mount crept forward, and the slide started outrunning the magazine. My jaw locked up between reps. The PDP I had starved just kept cycling, brass chasing muzzle flash, hits staying in one knot on steel while my gloves got wet and tired. I stopped calling it a gamer gun after that. It still sat there filthy and loaded, like it knew it had dominated every tactical pistol on that line and didn't need me to say it out loud. Last month, my buddy in Nevada got told again to park his Heckler VP9. The emails and briefings were all about standardizing on a different pistol so armorers and paperwork stayed simple in 2026. He shrugged, holstered the same beat-up VP9, and waited for qual day. The range looked like a policy slide deck. Rows of the new approved pistol, boxes just cracked, guys wiping oil off slides in the desert heat. My friend stepped onto the line with his VP9, light and optic already scarred up, like he'd missed the memo on purpose. When the timer started, the policy stopped mattering. On the longer strings, you could see the new guns pulling shots out of the A-zone once the par times got tight. His VP9 targets were rude next to them. Knots of hits, staying center while the gravel baked and sweat rolled off his wrists. Walking the line, nobody argued with the score sheets. They just glanced at his gun and moved on. For him, that qual quietly decided his 2026. The department could rotate flavors as much as it wanted, but every time he had to bet daylight, sweat, and gravel, his hand went back to the pistol the memo tried to retire, and the only thing that ever made that habit feel complicated was the gun sitting higher than it on this list. The worst shooter in that 2025 December, class ended up with my Springfield Echelon. He was a walking liability, not the guy I trust with the good stuff. He flinched, slapped triggers, dragged everything low left. I handed him the Echelon half as a joke, optic on, grip chewed up from my own abuse, just to keep him from wrecking another drill. Then he started ringing steel, like he'd borrowed someone else's hands. First string, the hits came up into the chest box and stayed. Heads turned because his target didn't match his name anymore. My jaw tightened. I knew his fundamentals hadn't cleaned up in one magazine, so I pushed it. Timer on, partials, movement, same tired shooter, same echelon. His groups held together. Not pretty, but a lot more dangerous than he had any right to be. When I took the gun back and ran the same drill, I felt it in my own grip. Big window, frame locking me in, trigger that lets you get away with being a little dirty. That's what tactical looked like that day. A pistol that drags your floor up whether you deserve it or not. And there's a gun higher on this list that doesn't help you at all. It just exposes every lazy habit you've got. The lie showed up in the holster first, not the notebook. I'd been talking big about running new tactical pistols, different brands, different setups, but when I emptied the truck one night, the gun that fell out of the seat, off the nightstand, and out of the waistband was the same beat-up Glock 19 Gen 5 MOS with a dot and light bolted to it. That thing had sweat crusted into the texture, skin oil on the optic glass, dust packed around the WML switch. It smelled like gas stations, gravel lots, and late drives home. The cooler guns were still spotless, living soft lives in cases. The Glock was the one that rode appendix in summer, got slammed into door frames, dragged across a truck console, and still came out clean from the trigger press. I wasn't carrying it because I loved it. I was carrying it because every time the hair on my neck stood up, my hand went for the pistol I trusted to line up a dot, throw white light, and eat whatever filthy 9mm I had loaded without asking questions. Call it boring all you want. The only reason it's sitting in the number 2 slot is because there's one pistol that finally bullied this thing out of first place when it came to that same dirty light and optic gun. This might go bad feeling. Back in February, I signed into this trash pit vehicle class behind a Texas shop, the kind where you know the guns are going to get hurt. Instructor pointed at a beat-up sedan and said, "Grab something you don't mind scratching." I grabbed the FN 509 Tactical with a can, dot and light, fully expecting to come home mad at it and go right back to my Glock. We were bailing out of doors, smashing muzzles into A-pillars, dragging slides across seat frames and gravel. Guys showed up with comped Wonder 9s and slick duty guns. By lunch, you could see who'd dress for photos and who came to bleed. Dots on the pretty guns started walking, one light quit, one pistol began short stroking once dust, sweat, and lube turned into mud. The 509 just got meaner. Every time I jammed it into a door jamb or raked the can across the hood, the dot came back to the same spot. Light stayed on. Brass kept launching like it was mad at the car. When we ran the nastiest strings around that sedan, I caught myself shoving the Glock back in the bag and reaching for the 509 on purpose. That February day is why it sits at number 1. And the quiet part is, the pistol waiting in the bonus slot after this isn't louder or flashier at all. It's the one that kept earning trust without ever needing a spotlight. In February, I had the M&P 9 2.0 Compact on almost by accident. Hoodie, late pharmacy run, keys in one hand, bag in the other. That pistol rode appendix with a light under the muzzle. Same way it had 100 boring nights before that one. Walking back to the truck, the lot went wrong fast. One car sat crooked with the engine running, 2 guys pretending to be busy. Footsteps came in behind me too close. When they cut toward my strong side and tossed out a fake friendly line, my head stopped caring about receipts and started caring about angles. My hand cleared the hoodie and locked on the M&P. Texture bit in. Frame. Let me get a full grip without contorting. And I knew exactly what that trigger felt like at the wall. I didn't draw, but my voice came out sharp, and the little group peeled off and drifted away, like they had found something else to bother. Driving home, that compact felt heavier in the holster than any full size. That was the bonus gun for this whole list. Not loud, not crowned, just the one that had actually been there when the parking lot turned sour. This winter in 2026 has already chewed through enough classes that my tactical pile looks different. Guns with cracked optics and dumped mags live in one corner. The ones from this list stayed in the holsters that mattered. Seeing the notes in one place stung more than any comment section. The pistol that took the ugliest weather wasn't the gun I'd worn for years. The FN 509 Tactical kept soaking it up, and my Glock 19 Gen 5 MOS, the comfortable default I'd argued for on camera, had to move over and share space it never had. Tell me which handgun actually earned tactical status for you, And which tactical build embarrassed you in front of a timer, a class, or a partner? I'm Steve, and every time I've trusted marketing over abuse, the gun has proved me wrong.